this is just a quick update for those of you that have been following what's been going on in regards to my ongoing saga with We Buy Any Car and the scam that they've been trying to pull on me for supposed legitimate company, the kind of underhanded tactics that have been going on when I went to sell my 2014 plated Audi. Now, those of you that watched the first video will know the basics of what had been going on, and this video is basically about answering your questions. So a lot of you guys saw the first video, had been asking questions, so I thought I'd do a video giving you all the answers. Now, you guys were asking about the process that I'd been through and what I had done so far. And to be honest, most of the stuff that you guys had mentioned, I've already been through fairly thoroughly. So when you guys had asked, had I been to Trading Standards, that was my first port of call. And surprisingly, believe it or not, Trading Standards were not even remotely interested in my case. So that was quickly disregarded. I then approached the Citizens Advice Bureau, and they were very helpful, and they gave me quite a few pointers. And then I was looking to approach the Ombudsman, but the motoring Ombudsman, I quickly found out after doing some research that they are basically bought and paid for by the motoring trade. So they were a complete waste of time as well. It wasn't even worth my time approaching them, because they pretty much do and say whatever the motoring trade tell them to do. And the cases that I've read up on have taken months, even years, for them to even get back to you. And then when they do get back to you, it's never favourable. So that was a waste of time. Then there were those of you that were asking, could the car have not been returned? So just to let you guys know that obviously the car was officially sold to We Buy Any Car on the 2nd of October 2019. They had given me the contract in black and white, signed, sealed and delivered. And come payday, I didn't get the money. I also had in writing confirmation from DVLA that the car was no longer mine, had my road fund tax refunded, and everything else. So at the point where I hadn't heard anything from We Buy Any Car for 3 weeks after not getting my money, and then I wrote to them to send them a letter before action, because basically I was just going to take them straight to court, wasn't going to mess about with it. And when I finally heard back from them, I think it was knocking close to 5 weeks. And by that point, I had said to them, when they made the proposal about returning the car, they thought that if they returned the car, then they could just wash their hands of it. And I was never ever going to let that happen. So I wasn't going to go through the whole rigmarole of having to re-tax the car, reinsure it, knowing that the car also would have an additional owner because I was no longer the registered keeper. Basically a lot of things which would have devalued the car even further. So long and short, that was no longer an option as far as I was concerned. Now, as I said, I was prepared to just basically go straight to court with it. I wasn't going to mess about. But the route that they took and the correspondence that they had been sending to me, backwards and forwards, kind of indicated that maybe after a few letters I could get this thing sorted. But obviously I was sorely mistaken about that. And this has been going on for many months. As I said in the other video before, this has been going on for near 8 months. And bearing in mind, as I said, this was my work vehicle, which I used to earn my income with. I had to also prepare myself that without the income from that vehicle, how long would I actually last on the money that I had? So when it came to things like legal representation, I had to consider, have I got the funds to do that? When would the case actually be seen, and that kind of stuff? Because obviously, after you can only carry on for so long on a certain amount of funds. Then basically, at a time where I thought that the situation was going to get resolved, when somebody from We Buy Any Car had finally written to me and agreed to make the payment that they had promised back in October, and this was now mid-February, I believe, just as all this COVID stuff had started. So I thought this was going to get resolved, but again, I was kind of fooled, because as soon as that offer was made to me, somebody else from the company who didn't title their email or head up their email, so I have no idea who it was from, but they basically tried to send me a very intimidating email and basically retracted the offer straight away again. So I felt like I was running a complete circle, and hence I then took this route of exposing them via social media. So by that point, the court option was no longer an option for me because of the COVID-19 situation. Courts had shut down, and as far as we knew, courts were going to shut down for the rest of the year. So bearing in mind I'd already waited for X amount of months, there was no point now waiting for the courts to reopen. Then they will be backlogged with cases and all that kind of stuff. So it just wasn't, I didn't have that kind of time on my hands. I didn't have the funds to sit that whole time out. So fortunately, after posting the last video, just to let you guys know on a positive note, I finally got a bank transfer from We Buy Any Car, albeit not for everything because it has to be dealt with separately, but finally got the money for the vehicle that was on the contract that was given way back in October last year. So nearly 8 months later, it's taken me to get that money, but now the battle is on to get the compensation stroke loss of earnings for the duration, which they're fully aware of. But since paying out that money, I haven't heard anything else from them. So needless to say, they might be thinking that this is all done and dusted, which it is far from. We're not even halfway through the matter, because bearing in mind the loss of earnings figure is twice the amount of the car. So yeah, just to say a big thank you, because without all of you guys who have shared with everyone that you know, not just the people that know me, you've shared the video, you've liked it, you've subscribed on the YouTube channel, and I'll be doing another video very soon as well to give you some more specifics in regards to the type of wording and stuff that they've put in their contracts, and then what they've put in their correspondence ongoing to retract that and basically run me around in circles. But yeah, thank you once again to everyone. Right, this is just a quick update